What is going on, guys? Bisectatron here, bringing you today's video, and we are talking about attacking some of these internet-style bases, for lack of a better term. These are bases you're going to see a lot in just everyday wars, and I know a lot of you guys face these bases day in and day out. So let's talk about some strategies for taking them down, starting with this one that is very common with the Town Hall kind of off to one side and the Inferno Towers. Just a lot of damage, kind of flesh to that top part of the base there. And I really like the way this attacker here is going to start off by luring out the CC, taking care of it with the Siege Barracks, which you don't often see paired with the Dragon attack, but uses the Siege Barracks to kind of help start things off. And then out of the Siege Barracks are going to come some more Dragons to kind of join the fight. So perfect how it worked out there. They're going to come in there, take out that Air Sweeper, which is important. Nice Warden's ability over the Town Hall. There's a ton of air traps, but that's okay. Also, the sweeper kind of sucks. The sweepers were pretty well positioned for this base, I will say. But here's something that's kind of key. Using the Royal Champion with the Dragons. Something you typically wouldn't expect to see, but because the Clan Castle troops have already been dealt with and taken out, there's no risk of luring out, a Lava Hound or Valkyries or the ground CC troops. All that has to happen is get down this scatter shot. As soon as the scatter's down, there's no more splash damage left on the base, I guess, except for that wizard tower, but there's some balloons moving in, and these bats have just nothing to hurt them. So really what you're doing on this base here is identifying that, okay, there's not a lot of splash damage to air troops on the back end, which means bats are a great choice. All you gotta do is take out that front end, which, to be fair, has a ton of damage on it, but overcomes that by using the Siege Barracks, by using the Royal Champion, and really putting a lot of power behind the Dragons. So it's not just Dragons, but also the heroes, the full force of the attack, all the spells, minus the bats, of course. Still has a lot of troops left up. We'll fast forward to the end here and take a look at some more replays. There's a lot of cool attacks from this war, and a lot of them on these bases that, are not going to be the bases you're going to see on the Clash of Clans World Championship, but I'm sure we've all seen this base before at various Town Hall levels. There's lots of versions of it. I'm not sure who created this or popularized it or thought it would be a good base, because I think it's a decent base, but because it's so popular makes it not a great base. And one thing we're going to see with this attack is that it actually doesn't work out too well at first, because the Queen's not going to go in here and target that Inferno Tower. So I guess in a sense this base can be a little tricky. Drops another of those Yetis, but it is also not going to target the Inferno. So that was an issue right off the bat here. Has to kind of adjust and use quite a few rages here. Has to I think hit the Queen's ability, which has already been done actually. So Queen's pretty low, healers are going down. Good adjustment here to kind of say, okay, I have to come at this Inferno Tower with the hybrid to protect my Queen. I'm going to use the King Siege Barracks on the other side as you typically would. Now I think the game plan, had the Queen gone into that Inferno Tower, would have been to maybe hybrid from like the 6 o'clock position over here up to where the Siege Barracks is, then put the King in the Siege Barracks like over here, for example, or commit it from the Eagle side. There's lots of different opportunities to hybrid this base from, but I think one of the important takeaways is all you have to do is really get your troops down and not have them die, and you can 3-star this base pretty easily, especially with the Siege Barracks and all the wizards coming out. Just a lot of damage, and a lot of these buildings are very accessible on the outside, not in compartments. Good delay here on the Royal Champion for the Town Hall. I recommend doing that against this base no matter how your attack's going, because the Town Hall is so isolated. The Royal Champion can take it out usually if you get her to lock onto it. Royal Champion versus Town Hall. I think the RC can win that battle from what I remember, using her ability when she gets kind of low on health. So hold on to the Royal Champion, do a hybrid pretty much however you want. Even if you don't get the Eagle down for a while, which was the case here, you can still 3-star. Now, it was a little bit closer towards the end here, just because of the fail earlier with the Queen charge, but still quite a few miners up and gets the job done. So there it is, guys. Take your pick of how you want to hybrid that base, but that's the way to do it, I would say. There are other strategies you could use as well. Okay, this one I wanted to show because it's not necessarily like an internet base, but It's the kind of base that is starting to be an anti-3-star base. It has the appearance of it. It looks like, a competitive War League base, I guess, but when you break it down, it's very susceptible to various attacks, including this Witch Super Wizard Super Giant attack. The only unsuper thing was the Witches, actually. With the Log Launcher and then the Earthquake spells to open everything up here. So one thing that you're going to notice before, it just went down. That Multi-Inferno was perfectly aligned with the Town Hall. So that was something that I'm a big fan of, is if you can have your Log Launcher take out a building before it even comes into play, you're already doing pretty well. In this case, the Multi-Inferno, is going to be a threat to Witches for sure. So want to get that down as soon as possible. And also the Town Hall here, very, very close to going down when the Log Launcher breaks. So I think like 1 or 2 Yeti mites actually end up taking it out right there. So a great use of the Log Launcher, also with the Earthquake spells to open things up and make it so the Log Launcher is focusing its logs more on the Town Hall, the Inferno Tower, the stuff that need to get taken out. So good stuff here. The flanks work out pretty well. Some of these Witches are going to start dying on the top of the screen from the Tesla and the Inferno. But overall, enough troops to get the job done. Has a few Super Wizards, a Yeti in there. Good stuff, nice attack. And we'll take a look at one more as we wrap this thing up. Alright, I'm going to skip down a few to, I believe, number 7 here. This one was very creative, and, against some of these bases, sometimes you're going to want to be creative. There might have been an easier, kind of more textbook hybrid or witch spam that could have worked, but sometimes the best strategy is to actually be a little creative, even if the base itself isn't, that creative. In this case, doing the Blizzard strategy there with the invisibility spells does a good job. Sometimes it's hard to even see your Super Wizards when they're in those spells because they're like semi-invisible to the attacker as well. But it does a good job keeping them in those spells for the most part, and they're going to basically take out the entire area above the Town Hall there. What that's doing is it's isolating the Town Hall for a much easier push with the heroes. I mean, beforehand you had the Clan Castle troops, a bunch of other defenses kind of circling the area, and you don't want that as the attacker. You want to try to isolate things for an easier kind of suey action with your heroes. Goes ahead and drops down a freeze just to kind of help take the damage off the queen there, because she is taking a lot of damage from that Town Hall. Hits the hero's abilities right here, maybe even a tad late on the king, but not bad. Gonna get most of the king's ability there. A nice little use of the headhunter to help disarm the royal champion as well. So overall gets the value that was needed, which in this case is going to be Town Hall heroes and some of those other defenses. And this sets up for a very nice Lalo pathing around the rest of the base. Now you do need a little bit of poise to deploy this Lalo, especially with 2 scatter shots and the base still being kind of wide in the middle. There's also a gap in the base which made it a little bit easier there. I'm not sure if that was used or not to deploy balloons on. But just coming through here, Queen gets a ton of value. Actually, the Queen herself takes out that scatter shot, plus gets the ability of the Warden on her, so got some great value there. There is going to be some balloons skipping around, but the big thing is the Royal Champion, which I think is underused in air attacks. We saw the Royal Champion do well on that dragon attack because the sweeper obviously is not going to affect her, so she was able to get a lot of value with the dragons. Once again, Royal Champion is going to be kind of the star of the show, finishing off the base here. So if you can, look to use your Royal Champion with your dragons or your Lalo. She is very effective there because oftentimes the defenses will be distracted or depleted, and she can kind of finish things off very nicely and kind of take out what your balloons would otherwise miss. The key is just that you make sure you're not going to run into any CC troops that haven't come out of the clan castle yet, or sometimes ground skeletons, but that's not that big of a deal. So good attack there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe this will help you Town Hall 13 attackers out a little bit. And yeah, once again, be sure to enter that creator boost code to help me out. And I'll be looking to put out another video very soon for you guys. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy my content, consider supporting the channel by entering my creator boost code, BISECT, in the settings tab of your game, and keep in mind it occasionally resets and must be re-entered. Click or tap for another video and be sure to subscribe. See you all next time. Bisectatron out.